What's up, guys? It's Al with Coop's Car Correction, and I'm gonna shoot a little video today of this PDR repair. It's been a while since I've done a paintless dent repair video. It's time consuming, especially when you're busy. It's hard to like set up a camera while you're in the zone of, you know, pushing the dent out and working it, and especially when you're on a time constraint. But anyways, I got some time today. I'm gonna try to do the best I can to kind of demonstrate and teach you like how this repair is gonna be done. So I have this 2000, I think it's a 22 Civic. Pretty decent sized dent right here through the body line on this fender. Supposedly a kid jumped on the hood and slid off and his knee hit it right there. But already kind of scoped out and got a game plan of what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna have too much access going through this fender. I might be able to get some back there, but with the washer fluid tank, it's probably back there pretty good. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm going to jack it up a little bit, and I'm gonna drop that inner fender, and you know, hopefully that gets me enough access without having to remove that washer fluid tank. And my goal, so as you look at this right here, whenever you dent something, the driving force drove this dent, boom, that way, and it displaced all that metal up. So there's bunched up metal here, and then this is a low. So once I get my tool back there, I'm gonna be pushing in the center of this dent to get that out while tapping all this displaced metal back down that way and get it a nice flat finish. And then, you know, there's some more crowns, what we call, which is like displaced metal high spots. And you know, hopefully this edge isn't too bad. Hopefully when I start pushing this out, it's gonna kind of bring itself out together by itself. But I'm gonna probably put some straps here and here to hold that fender in so I can't blow it out. But yeah, that's it. I'll do a little time lapsing, and thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know what you think in the comments, and like and subscribe. Okay, so I got this inner fender pulled down. I originally thought I was just gonna drop it all the way down because I wasn't sure where this washer fluid tank you know, kind of is in relation to the damage, but it's like tucked up way up in here, way out of the way. So I just got it down enough. And then the other thing were my fender blowout straps. I couldn't really get them in a good place back on that coil. So I'm gonna try to repair it without it. The only thing is I just gotta be careful to not put too much pressure here, and just keep an eye on how this edge is coming out as I push on this. So just to give a little rundown, I got some heat here. I'm going to warm up. Mostly I'm you know, worried about this crown area. Usually where you have a big displacement like this, it could flex the paint and put some stress in it. So I don't want to make it any worse if it did, you know, stress it out some. So I'm gonna heat up kind of this area right here where the bulk of the damage is. And then I'm gonna do my initial pushes with a really blunt tip to get a bunch of this metal moving. I'm gonna put a lot of the pressure right there on that body line and just be nice and easy. Try to get it out some, relieve some of that pressure, and then I'm gonna start tapping this high crown down. Got a couple different knockdown setups I'll use. I'll probably use this edge end and smack it, give it some smack. I might put a different end right here so I could hit it with another hammer. I got this knockdown crown buster tip, and then I have a cherry tip. So I'm gonna be using this group of tools for the majority of this, and then once I can get it, you know, the bulk of the damage out, I'm gonna start going to smaller tips. So. Okay, so here I am. I didn't really spend that much time with that blunter tip, but it is so important to really, think about where the metal's flowing and your plan of attack in the first little bit of the repair, because the way you approach it is going to make your repair come out cleaner. It's going to be faster and just all around a better repair. So what I realized was this body line, it's bringing everything out pretty good. So what I need to do is I need to focus on just pushing this body line out while tapping all this lumped up metal down. And I think a lot of this bottom will kind of work itself out. So I am switching to a little bit tighter tip, this cherry tip, so that way I could really get in that body line and focus right on that natural body line and bring that back. So it's coming out pretty good. My main concern at the beginning is to get this body line as close to true as possible, and it's starting to bring this bottom edge. This bottom edge actually looks pretty good. It's kind of coming out. There's a lot of texture. I still have some high spots up here. So what I'm gonna do, we call it cross-checking, but you always wanna check your work in multiple angles. So I was working on it from that side with the light shining that way and my eyes looking that way. So now I'm gonna kind of change it where the light's gonna be shining this way and I'm gonna be working that way. So the more angles you can work it, the better finished product you'll have. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna kind of start blending in some of this high spot and texture, and then get back down on my butt and work it with a tool that way. All right, so I'm gonna go through a couple, I wouldn't say tips, but just basic stuff of what a PDR tech uses for like mindset and and thought process while doing a repair like this, especially a big dent like this. There's a lot going on. It's not like one little dent that you're just kind of push out, and a lot of customers think that a big dent like this is just going to pop out. And even if you do get the majority of it to pop out, there's always going to be secondary damage. But anyways, when I do big damage like this, I think of, there's two ways to look at it. Like making your bed. You want to stretch the sheet out so there's no wrinkles and stuff in it. And, you could pull one corner and it might look bunched up in the other corner. So you got to kind of like work around different corners to like really stretch out your sheet. That's one way to look at it. Another way to look at it is, I don't know if anybody's ever put like the little rubber mats in their toolbox. And if it's cut like a little too long, it bunches up somewhere. And that's like the same way, is like you have to have it fit perfectly in there so it doesn't bunch up, and you pull it one way and then it bunches up another corner. So the way I think of it is just like when I'm doing this PDR, I'm thinking of like stretching the panel out back to its original shape. But where am I going to put that pressure to stretch it out where it comes out the most even and with the its original rigidity? Because when I'm doing dents like this, if you just push on the center of the dent and like try to push it out, it gets all oil canny or it buckles the panel, and it's just not, it's not like that stretched out sheet that fits and lays nice. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. I don't know. Maybe I'm friggin' crazy and my analogy doesn't mean crap to you guys, but either way, my next thing. So here I have a line right here, which I use to check my highs and lows. A lot of people, PDR techs, they use like line boards where they'll have a bunch of those lines. That gets distracting for me. I just like having one crisp line to check my dent through. So if you follow that line, you see all the rippleness, and if you follow that line through, you'll see all the inconsistency. So that is all, you know, texture that I'm going to have to either pick up or push down to get it flatten out to match the original orange peel of the paint. So when you have that line, if it narrows and pinches, that means you have a high spot. If it gets bigger and wider, that means it's a low spot. So that's another thing that we use to read how the panel is laying out, which, you know, there's a lot of skill that go with PDR, but like reading the light and the reflection is probably the, I would say that's like the most important thing that you just get accustomed to the more years you put into the craft. And the more comfortable you are just like looking at it and reading the light and knowing what's high, what's low, it just the quicker and better repairs you could do. But yeah, hopefully if that makes sense to you guys. Here is where I'm at. Looks pretty good. I'm on like the last little bit. So there's some micro lows I gotta take care of. So I am on like the finishing part. I'm gonna be using this super sharp tip to get all the little tiny lows to really, you know, blend this thing in perfectly to the orange peel. This car's got some really small orange peel, so I gotta make like really tiny pushes with that to blend it in, and then I'll polish, you know, the panel afterwards. And then using you know, a sharper tip knockdown like this. So, you know, gonna be a little bit while of going back and forth between that sharp tip and this knockdown just to get that thing blended out nice and mint. So here is the final product, guys. Came out really nice. Got the splash guard all in and tidied up. Polished out all my marks. This paint is pretty thin, so I couldn't really sand any of it. You know, but a lot of the scratches came out. There's some very fine stress marks in the paint, but I don't think this owner's gonna be too concerned about it. Came out really nicely, a lot quicker and a lot cheaper than it would have been if it got pushed through a body shop. So shout out Coops. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys get an idea, a little bit better idea of what PDR technicians do, what is possible, where there's you know, you know, where the value in it. You know, just because something PDR wise might only take somebody an hour or so, and you say like, oh, it's $200, like, what's $200 an hour? You know, like PDR doesn't get charged per hour. It's just, it's on a value based by the size and technicality of the dent, because, you know, and every industry should be that way. The better you get at your craft, the more your time is worth. And that should, at least for me, as somebody that's in a skill like that, I should shoot for every year my time gets more valuable. Not just because of inflation, but the skill I have and my ability to do work better and faster, I should be rewarded for it. Probably one of the biggest reasons why I decided to work for myself. That's entrepreneur mindset. But I feel that everybody, if you work for someone else in another business, like that's what you should strive for, and you should work for a company that you know, that will reward you that way. Anyways, but yeah. So if you get something quoted from a PDR tech and you're like, oh, that seems like a lot of money just to pop the dent out, you know, you don't know what you're talking about. Sorry. And if you want to do it, go ahead, buy a kit off Eastwood and start pulling it. And then when you mess it up, try to call a PDR technician to have them fix it. Because I see it all the time, and it ends up being more expensive than if you would have just paid somebody that knew what they're doing to begin with. But yeah, I hope you guys learned something from this video. If you ever need some PDR and you're in Northwest Indiana or like South Chicagoland, hit me up, 219-595-9929. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. If there's anything else I help you guys with, I'd love to. If you're somebody that wants to get into PDR, you know, someone that's just starting off in PDR or whatever be it, let me know. I'd love to help that, because when I got into PDR, like, I used YouTube to get, you know, ideas or to learn. I'm pretty much self-taught. I took a small 2-week class, but that's not enough to really learn PDR. It's a lot of it is just hands-on with guidance. You can't really learn it all in school. You need to just have the hands-on with a little bit of guidance. But yeah, I hope you liked the video. Like, subscribe, and let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching, guys.